Hello everyone and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. My name is Steve Eunice. In this, our July 16th, 2019 show, I'm going to be covering a range of topics including, well, we've had 2 weeks away, so there's lots of things to get through. Henry Cavill joking about Batman v Superman, San Diego ComicCon coming up this week, new episodes of Krypton, Supergirl news coming out of our ears, and so much more. We'll also open the questions and comments to take for you to let us know any particular Superman topic or Supergirl topic or Krypton topic you would like to discuss. And unfortunately, I can't introduce you to my co-host tonight. Michael Bailey is ill at the moment, unwell and unable to be part of the show tonight. So I'm going solo. I'm on my own. I've got heaps of topics to get through, so I'm going to be discussing them. But if you're watching this, you're either doing it live via YouTube or directly on our website. And since we are beaming this live across the internet and around the planet Houston, I'd like to hear from you. I won't be able to take calls tonight because when it's a one-man show, it's very hard to juggle the kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that you need to do when you've got Skype callers calling in and things like that. But I will be paying attention to the comments on YouTube. So for our YouTube live listeners, post your comments, ask questions, and as the show continues, I'll keep an eye on those and react to them as I can. Now, for those tuning in live via via YouTube, find the comments there, post your comments, and a huge thank you to our sponsor and patron, Douglas Meacham. We appreciate your support. So, pushing on, as I said, Michael unable to join us tonight, but I tried to get a co-host here or there at the last minute. Michael was trying to the very last minute to try to make tonight, but he's just not well enough, and I couldn't find a co-host that could fill in for him at short notice. So it's just me tonight, but as I said, heaps of things to get through, so bear with me, but please participate with your comments and I will try to get to them. And it's good to see people like Ricky Lee James, Amethyst, Rob, Mike, John and others in the live comments there on YouTube. And I will pass on your well wishes to Michael and hope he feels better soon. Alright, well, let's start with movie news as we like to do. And there isn't much, as you know, happening in the world of movie for Superman, but what we did have this week was DC Comics co-publisher Jim Lee posted this image of he said it was a ARM tutorial on his iPad using a application called Procreate, and then it kind of extended from there and became a Batman v Superman fight with the Man of Steel letting loose a big dose of heat vision to finish off the Dark Knight. And seeing this on Instagram, Henry Cavill responded to the post saying, "See, I was holding back the whole time," obviously referencing the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice film. So good to see Henry is following the DC Comics people and commenting on some of those posts. And an interesting image there from Jim Lee, who tends to be more of a Batman guy when it comes to his artwork and things like that. So interesting to see him doing an image with Superman defeating Batman so easily in this particular graphic that he drew. So there you have it, just Henry Cavill joking a little bit around with some of the things that's been posted on social media. Now, as you no doubt have seen, there is a lot of advertisements happening at the moment, things happening for San Diego ComicCon, which is taking place this upcoming week, in the next couple of days. Thursday, I think it's preview night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the main days of the convention there in San Diego. Now, this is not anything official, but fans banded together, created a GoFundMe page to fund advertisements that would be posted around San Diego, around the convention center there, to promote, or I guess demand in some ways, the Snyder Cut of Justice League be released by Warner Brothers, whether it be to the cinemas, to theaters, or to Blu-ray, as other people have been calling. Now, this particular image came up this week on social media. Someone took a photo of this bus shelter where this pretty professional looking advertisement was posted, and I guess there are more of these around San Diego. The GoFundMe campaign, which a lot of people are saying what a waste of money for these ads, but half the money raised was donated in support of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Now, that's very fitting because obviously Zack Snyder had to stand down from completing the Justice League movie, as you no doubt know, because of the tragic suicide of his daughter, and therefore couldn't complete the film. But most of his film was supposedly completed. Now, there are quotes on these bus shelter ads and wherever else these ads might be showing up, from quotes from people like Ray Fisher, Jay Oliver, Jason Momoa, and others who directly worked on the film and believe or know that a Snyder Cut exists in whatever shape or form it might be, but almost in a completed form. And therefore, they're asking for this to be released. And these posters are up around San Diego where people can see them heading to the convention. And I guess that's their push to get this particular cut of the film released, if indeed it does exist in some kind of shape that is releasable. Obviously we don't want something that is, half-baked. Amethyst saying, "Oh, can't they just let it go?" I agree. There's some people who are just tired of this and saying, look, even a Justice League movie completed by Zack Snyder might not be something that would be that great either. Anyway, but there are a lot of people who are just really adamant that this would be better than what we got in the theatrical release, and want this to happen. And even people in the industry calling for this to happen. And we'll just have to wait and see whether or not these ads actually have any impact on Warner Brothers doing anything along those lines, whether it be a theatrical release or more likely a Blu-ray release. Wait and see. So wait and see what happens there. Now, in other movie news, July 26th is a date you might want to mark down in your calendar if you are in the Los Angeles area, as Helen Slater will personally be attending a double feature screening of Superman the movie back-to-back with Supergirl the movie. Helen will be there on July 26th at the Egyptian Theatre in Hollywood to participate in a Q&A discussion about the Supergirl film ahead of the film screening, which will start at 7:30 p.m. local time there on Friday, July 26th, as I said, in Los Angeles. So, interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen this advertised, having these two films screened back-to-back. That could be an interesting double, and having Helen Slater there on hand to answer questions about her involvement in not just the Supergirl film and what happened there during the filming of that movie back in the early 80s, but obviously her further involvement in both Smallville and the Supergirl TV series, which I'm sure she'll have stories to share as well. So if you're interested, head to our website. You can find the link to Fandango there, where you can purchase your tickets to this July 26th double feature screening. They're both 35mm prints of the respective films, which, as I said, it's always cool to see these films on the big screen. Not that Supergirl was as well received, or anywhere as well received, as Superman the movie. It's not as good a film as Superman the movie. Obviously that's a cult classic now, but yeah, Supergirl deviated into some weird areas of storytelling, but Helen Slater nevertheless was a fantastic casting choice for Kara Supergirl. Alright, so yeah, if you're interested, head to our website for the link for that. Just looking at some of the comments, Amethyst saying that would be really nice to be able to be there, and Helen Slater, looks good for her age, says Tina, which I don't disagree with. Alright, well that's where we are with movie side of things. So now change direction and look at the television side of things, and I'll start with Krypton because that's what's currently airing on TV screens at the moment. And our reviewer Michael J. Petty submitted his review of the 5th episode of season 2 of Krypton, which was titled A Better Yesterday. He gave this episode a high 5 out of 5 rating. The first 5 is given for an episode in this season, and he says, out of all the things that could have happened on this week's Krypton, the last 30 seconds of this episode is what I would have expected least. And I guess the ending did surprise everyone with, spoiler alert here if you haven't watched the episode, it's been nearly a week now, so you should have. Lyta Zod seemingly dead. I mean, that really surprised everyone. I didn't see that happening. I don't know if that's going to stick, as they say, but yeah, a big surprise. I enjoyed this episode. It was a more serious episode. It still has its little quirky moments and its in-jokes, as especially with Adam and Kem, the two of them, kind of teaming up here with Seg back on Krypton, and interesting to see Brainiac there still alive and kicking, if just in Seg's mind, still a presence there where he had thought he had separated from him or killed him off. But if anything, it's Seg's getting help from Brainiac because they both want to get rid of Zod, and I guess they're both having to team up in a way to be able to defeat him. So the enemy of my enemy is my ally at this point in time, as far as Seg and Brainiac are concerned. And as this season continues, I really think they've just ramped up the action and the drama, and to good effect. I'm really enjoying where this season is going at the moment. And then we look beyond to the upcoming episode, which is titled In Zod We Trust, and I'll play that promo for you right now, and then read some of your comments out if you want to let me know what you thought of this most recent episode of Krypton. So here's the trailer for the upcoming episode.
Listen as I explain how you are going to help me.
Soon, the entire galaxy will learn to fear us.
You can't save everyone, Seg.
I have to at least try.
What part of unstoppable killing machine do you not understand?
Zod is determined to win this war. If you do nothing, he will succeed.
So there you have it. That was the trailer for the upcoming episode of Krypton, and I'm guessing there's some stuff in there for future episodes as well, so it kind of hinted towards that. People saying, I'm wondering if Lyta will remain dead, and John says it would be nice to watch a show where death matters. It's these things can sometimes be a bit tricky. A main character dies, and obviously, they want it to mean something, but does it stick? Does that person come back? How's that going to play out with cloning being an issue there on Krypton? Is that something that could play into Lyta returning somehow? We'll just have to wait and see. And people asking, how are the ratings for Krypton? Well, and I'm loath to kind of mention Rotten Tomatoes here, or Rotten Tomatoes, however you want to pronounce it, but it's got a 100% rating there, or I think, or close to. It's been very well received. The reviews for Krypton are just through the roof. People are saying that as a prequel show goes, this one's really broken away from being just a Superman prequel, and it's got a life of its own and a following of its own, and is, can stand on its own in many ways. And I have to agree, I think they've really done a good job of setting up the story. None of these characters, other than Brainiac, Lobo, Zod, who obviously have traction in other stories elsewhere, guys like Seg and obviously Adam Strange is a character, but Seg-El and Kem and Lighter Zod and all these other characters who haven't really existed in any other format before are really carrying the show, and I think making it something that fans can watch without having to know too much about, Krypton's future or destruction or Superman's story or anything like that. It's standing up on its own as a drama on its own. So I think the ratings are proving that, and I'm glad that it is rating well. So that's the upcoming episode of Krypton, and we'll look forward to future episodes and where that continues, and just to see what happens with Lighter Zod now in this season of Krypton. Alright, well, the big news, if you like, this week was the announcement on the revelation that Supergirl would be getting a new costume for Season 5. Now, it was at first broken or revealed on this video where Kevin Smith interviewed Melissa Benoist at this video game convention or event where she was a special guest playing some of the video games there. And during the interview, they quickly changed topic away from video gaming to ask and talk about Supergirl Season 5, where Kevin Smith revealed that, for the past season she's been wearing a skirt, and they film at night a lot of the times, and it's cold there in Vancouver where they film, and she'd be freezing. And the Red Daughter this past season had a full body costume, and there was a joke kind of about it, about the fact that Supergirl still wears a skirt, and he kind of thought that that's where they might be going with her costume, and that's indeed what they have done. They've decided to give Supergirl a full body costume for Season 5 of the series. And let's face it, this has been done in the past in Supergirl in the comic books, where she's had either shorts or leggings or what have you to do away with the skirt. So it's not the first time we've seen a Supergirl costume without a skirt or without a dress and with full body legs, if you like. So here's the image that Melissa Benoist then shared on Instagram of this new costume. Now, a few things. I have no problem with Supergirl not wearing a skirt. It makes sense. I have no problem whatsoever with the belt, with the pants, with the boots. The boots are a little bit high for my liking. I don't necessarily agree with or like boots going above the knee up to the thigh area. Just below the knee is probably, the best kind of design. I have no problem, even though I don't really like the fact that the suit seems to come over the back of her hand and seems to be more of like a fingerless glove thing. But here's the thing. Obviously, the people who design these costumes and work on these superhero shows at the CW pay no attention to social media or fan comments, because if they've learnt anything from fans' reactions to the Superman costume, it's that the belt buckle clasps over the shoulders for the cape are horrible, and I don't know why they've decided to include them here on this new Supergirl costume. I could deal with everything else and be happy and satisfied with everything else, but those clasps at the top over the shoulder for the cape, they're just horrendous. Her previous costume look, where the cape tucked into the front underneath the costume at the shoulders, was perfect. I don't know why they decided to go the same clasp belt buckle look that they did with the Superman costume. I just think that's a horrible look and just doesn't really work at all. The rest of it I can live with. I don't know if it's permanent. I don't know for how long she'll be wearing this costume, whether or not she'll go back to anything like what we've seen in previous seasons. I don't mind if they don't go back to the skirt, but please fix that cape connection. It's just horrible. I think it just looks really amateurish, but that's just my opinion. And Tina saying she agrees, she hates them so much. And, Born Winner says meh. Other people, let's see. John saying that, just looking at other topics, that he'd like to see Ursa or Faora being a good villain for Supergirl in the upcoming season. I don't mind that. Mike saying pants are a little more sensible for her line of work, but please get rid of the damn cape clasps. I agree, cannot disagree more. Could not agree more. I totally disagree with the clasps. And Amethyst saying it's hard to believe they have her in pants. I'm surprised, but I hate the top of that costume. It is ugly. I totally agree. The top of the costume around the neck area, over the shoulders, is just a horrible look. The costume designer, I'm not a costume designer by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know that most fans dislike that look of the clasps here, the belt buckles, whatever you want to call them, the way that it connects there. I don't know why they just didn't stick with, as I said, what they had previously. And I'm trying to find an image here of the Supergirl costume. I think I might have one already in place where we can check out the way it looked. There we go. What was wrong with that? It tucked in nicely at the top of the costume. Just made sense. It looked better. And I don't know what's wrong with that look. But anyway, they've decided to go with something different. So it is what it is. So yes, new costume in season 5. A lot of fans not necessarily disagreeing with the pants, but not enjoying the overall look of the costume. Now, also new this season will be the fact that Melissa Benoist will make her directorial debut, directing an episode of the 5th season of Supergirl. She will be directing the 17th episode of this season, so later in the season. But she told EW.com that she's been waiting to direct since season 3, but couldn't do it simply because of conflicting issues with schedules. So David Harewood stepped in first, and he directed an episode this past season. She said, I just felt really drawn to it for a couple of seasons now, just because you know the show so well, and you get to know the character and the world and the tone of the show so well that you can't help but envision certain scenes in a certain way. I want to play with that. Now, she's been sitting in on concept meetings for the upcoming premiere of season 5 to dip her toe into the whole production side of things, to get to know what's in store and how that works, so that she can then use that knowledge later in the season to direct her episode, which, as I said, will be the 17th episode of season 5. She says these shows are so massive that it's not like directing any other TV show on any other show on TV, I would imagine, and everyone has said so as much to me. I'm literally trying to be a sponge, and I will learn something new every single day I'm shadowing. So we wish her well and hope that she does a great job in her directorial debut, which will be on the later episode of season 5 of Supergirl. Now, Supergirl and Krypton have both been nominated for Saturn Awards this year, and the 45th annual Saturn Awards will take place on September 13th, and I can tell you that the Supergirl TV series was nominated for a Best Superhero Television Series, up against Arrow, Black Lightning, The Flash, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Gotham, and Marvel's Cloak and Dagger. Melissa Benoist once again been nominated in the Best Actress on a TV Series, while David Harewood has been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And John Cryer, who appeared as Lex Luthor in 3 episodes of Supergirl last season, has received a nomination for Best Guest Starring Performance on a Television Series. So we wish them all well. Well, on the Krypton side of things, the show was nominated for Best Science Fiction Television Series, and it's up against the 100 counterpart Doctor Who, Manifest, the Orville, Roswell, New Mexico, and Westworld. I think Westworld might do pretty well there. So good luck to Krypton on that. And also Cameron Cuff, who plays Segel on Krypton. He's been nominated for the best performance by a young actor on a television series in the 45th annual Saturn Awards. So we wish them all well and congratulate them on their nominations, and see when the Saturn Awards are announced, as I said, on September 13th, just who has won in any of those categories. So best of luck to everyone there. Just looking at some of the comments there. Okay, so pushing on, San Diego ComicCon. It's days away, and in a first this year, Warner Brothers and DC Comics will join forces on the convention floor in a totally digitally revamped two-story combination DC Warner Brothers booth, which is number 4545, located near Artists Alley. It'll have more than 6,000 square feet across 2 levels, and will host nearly 40 signings featuring not only the stars and creative teams from Warner Brothers, HBO series, and New Line Cinema films, but also almost 50 legendary DC writers and artists, proving to be the ultimate DC and Warner Brothers fan location or destination. And they've announced a number of different things that'll be happening at that booth, including there'll be Dark Knight costumes and collectibles, Harley Quinn Arkham activation, there'll be DC Universe members exclusives there, and stars and signings throughout Thursday through Sunday. Now for Superman and Supergirl fans, there's the DC Superhero Girls signing on Friday, July 19th at 11:15 a.m. And then on the Saturday, the Supergirl signing will take place at 3 p.m. On July 20th. And then there will be other things happening with DC Comics, which I'll get to in the comics portion of our show tonight. But the full press release for what they're doing there at Comic-Con this year between Warner Brothers and DC Comics is up on our website. So make sure you check that out. And that's the graphic that they released this year for Comic-Con 2019 for the Warner Brothers DC booth. So lots to look forward to there. And don't know what. I'll get rid of that. And yeah, so looking forward to seeing what they come up with this year at the booth. And we will have a reporter there in attendance at Comic-Con this year. Lewis James will be there for us, taking photos in and around the convention, and Douglas Meacham will be outside the convention taking photos as well from a lot of the cosplay stuff that goes on around the convention center there. So looking forward to Comic-Con and all the announcements that will take place there this year. Also, the Warner Brothers TV Guide magazine, Comic-Con TV Guide magazine is out this year, and Warner Brothers Television Group unveiled the collectible covers for this year's magazine. And just looking at some of the covers here, this is the magazine cover that will be features pretty heavily Supergirl there in the middle, and it's a amazing cover because it has 100 incredible women who star in the studio's Comic-Con related series. Supergirl's there, the DC Superhero Girls are there, as are Batwoman and so many other superheroes and female characters across the Warner Brothers shows. And you got Batwoman, you got Thunder, Lightning, White Canary, Starfire, Veronica Mars, and more. And there's also a Riverdale, a Supernatural, and a Batwoman version of the TV Guide magazine for Comic-Con. All 4 covers will be on sale at newsstands from July 16th till October 14th, and this the special issue can also be purchased online via tvguidemagazine.com/comiccon, also through Barnes & Noble and Amazon, and it'll be available digitally on the Nook, Kindle, Zinio, Google, and Magster. So head to our website to check out the links for all those and the press release to get this TV Guide Magazine Comic-Con Special Edition. Alright, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back on the flip side to talk more about Comic-Con, what's happening there, and what Warner Brothers is also doing with these bags that they hand out. So we'll just play a few messages and come back right after this.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Balmer, the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Delicious.
And dangerous. First, never touch any appliance without a parent's supervision, and always be careful with kitchen appliances. Keep their cords out of your way and your fingers out of their way. Also, always turn pot handles in, away from the edge of the stove.
So nobody bumps into them and gets hurt.
Now you're cooking.
And we're back on WGBS TV Live, where if you've just joined us or you tuned in late, I'm on my own tonight because Michael Bailey, my co-host, has called in sick. We hope he gets better soon and is feeling better and is able to join us again next week, and we send him our best regards. Well, as I mentioned before the break, Warner Brothers TV also unveiled their official San Diego Comic-Con bags this week, and if you are attending Comic-Con, then you'll be able to pick up one of these nifty looking bags for Supergirl fans. There's this particular this is a design for the Supergirl bag, showing the pretty well established poster that they used also on the season 4 Blu-ray release. And there's also a Young Justice Outsiders bag with the character heads of all the major characters in this new animated season of the much beloved Young Justice series, which is available to stream on the DC Universe digital streaming service. I believe there's also a DC Superhero Girls bag and many others. Now, if you want to pick up these bags, and there are more than 160,000 bags were produced for Comic-Con, you can claim your bag when you check in at the show while supplies last. And there are 23 new designs, including, as I said, Supergirl, Young Justice, there's Batwoman, Pennyworth, Harley Quinn, The Flash, Riverdale, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Doom Patrol, Black Lightning, Arrow, Titans, Supernatural, and Looney Tunes, Teen Titans Go, Thundercats Raw, and many, 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 many more. So make sure you check those out. If you are attending Comic-Con this year, grab your bag. I don't know if you get a choice or if you just get what you're given, but nevertheless, they're pretty cool bags to carry around and put all your swag in that you collect and pick up along the way. Alright, as you know, we weren't here last week, wasn't able to do the show last Wednesday, But from last week, the one thing that I did want to announce and mention was the fact that we had the sad farewell of actor Eddie Jones, who passed away last week. He was aged 82. Now, if you're unsure who Eddie Jones was, he played Pa Kent, Jonathan Kent, on the TV series Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. He and Kay Callan played the much beloved Kent parents, and he did a great job. He was a wonderful Jonathan Kent. And Dean Cain took to social media and posted on Twitter saying, "My heart breaks with this loss. God bless you, Eddie. You were a wonderful human and a terrific father. Rest in peace, my friend." And on behalf of everyone at the Superman homepage, we'd like to send our condolences to his family and friends on the sad passing of Eddie Jones, a wonderful man and a wonderful actor by all accounts. So yes, that was one thing that we did want to make mention from last week that we missed out on in mentioning from last week. Alright, well, now it's time to change tack once again and look to the comic book side of things, where this past week Superman number 13 was released, and this had a wonderful cover, which was by Ivan Rice, Joe Prado, and Alex Sinclair. And I just want to, where is that cover right now? Just bring that to the front so you can check that out. We also use this design for our Superman homepage button that was handed out at the Superman Celebration, the Superman homepage meet and greet this year, last month. And in this particular comic book, part 7 of the House of L story, we see Jor-El giving us a flashback, if you like, of the moment, the period of time where he was trying to convince the Science Council about his findings and Krypton's pending doom. We see he and Lara having a discussion about the fact that they won't pay attention to what he believes is happening, and we see that Jor-El was having secret meetings, if you like, with the Circle, which were made up of a number of intergalactic members of this, the Thanagarian soldiers, you've got Gandello, you've got the Tamarans, all these different alien races overseeing the universe, so to speak, and Jor-El meeting with them secretly via like a phone call, if you like, a holographic messaging system, where he's able to plead. He's trying to plead with them to also step in and get the Science Council to believe him, but they themselves aren't really buying into Jor-El's findings, or if they do believe them, they have ulterior motives as to allowing Krypton to be destroyed. And then we see later in the story Superman talking with his Kryptonian father about this whole thing, and just what happened, the battles that are going on there in present day. You've got Jor-El and Kal-El arriving at Krypton's ruins, and then back on Earth, there are these drones that locate Lois in her hideaway hotel and project a transmission, interestingly enough, from Lex Luthor, who was believed to be dead or missing or whatever. And he delivers this mystery box to Lois, and she's adamant she's not going to open it, but then when she does, we don't know what's in it at this point in time, but it's a major shock to her, and a revelation that I guess we will be seeing in the 14th issue of the Superman comic book title. So wait and see what is that thing, whatever it was that was in that box that Lex dropped off to Lois. Wait and see how that pans out. Our reviewer Adam DeChannel gave this only a 3 out of 5 rating, saying that we still don't know how Krypton was destroyed, whether it was Rogol Zaar, as supposed was he said he destroyed it, or whether or not it was the way that it was a natural disaster. And he says that the story reveals a little more of what we already know, but we just don't know enough at this point in time. So, and that's Bendis's way, I guess. He likes to do the slow burn. So wait and see, how much of a payoff there is in the next upcoming issue. All right, well, also there's a lot of comic book news this week, and one of the big ones, and one of the ones I'm really looking forward to, is The Hollywood Reporter published an interview with writer Gene Luen Yang to discuss his upcoming 3-part miniseries, Superman Smashes the Klan, and shared a number of images of this upcoming 3-part comic book, and here are some of those images right now. That's the cover to the first issue, and this is based on the Clan of the Fiery Cross story from the 1940s Superman radio series, which was a big story at the time. And Gene Luen Yang says the story was broadcast around 1946, so that's just 8 years after he was released, and he was already a worldwide phenomenon, and especially in America he was wildly popular. But I do feel that Superman that we all know and love today, he wasn't quite formed yet at that time. There were still pieces of him that were being solidified. He goes on to discuss the fact that this particular story was a point where Superman really did become a symbol of American tolerance, American justice, and American hope. The first issue will be released on Wednesday, October 16th, with the first of 3 80-page perfect bound issues, and the collected edition of all 3 issues will later be released in a collected format in 2020. But yes, Rob's saying he's never heard the radio series. You must listen to the radio series, Rob. It's my favourite version of Superman. Bud Collyer is just the voice of Superman that I hear in my head. And this particular story was a big deal and continues to be a big deal. And some of the other artwork from this, which just looks really cool, were also posted online. And as I said, it's inspired by the 1940 Superman radio serial Clan of the Fiery Cross, and it is a retelling of the adventures of the Lee family as they team up with Superman to smash the Klan. And there are there are more images available on the Superman homepage if you'd like to check them out. We've got a gallery of images of pages from this particular release, which I'm really looking forward to. The artwork alone looks really cool, and the story is a great one. Yes, it looks like it's set in that 1940s period, but I think the message that it delivers is still very much relevant today. And the old radio shows are available free on places like old time radio websites. Check it out. There's also CDs out there, like there's a 6 CD of MP3s that you can buy as well. They're always available on eBay and other places like that. And we've got the whole list on our website as well. So just check the audio radio section of our website. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Artwork, as I said, looks awesome, and that will be released. The first issue is available, or will be available, October 16th. Also in comic book news this week, we found out that Ryan Sook is updating Superboy's costume in the comics, and that Superboy will indeed be joining the Legion of Superheroes. And I'll check out, we'll give you the images here in a second. Here is what the new costume will look like as designed by Ryan Sook. Obviously that's just a very rough sketch, and there'll be more kind of colouring and artwork done to that as the comic book lands. But I've seen a lot of fans not really that impressed, one, with the fact that Jonathan was aged in the first place, but you could see that this is where they were going, and now I understand why that happened. And the costume, I don't mind it at all. For John, I think it's alright. The S itself, I would have liked to see them stick with the traditional S. But beginning with Legion of Superheroes Millennium #1 on sale September 18th, Brian Michael Bendis will bring all of the DC Universe future timelines together, uniting the continuities of characters like Kamandi, Booster Gold, OMAC, Tommy Tomorrow, and the Legion of Superheroes. And in the long way, John Kent will join the Legion of Superheroes, as his dad has done before in the past. And that was revealed on the cover of Legion of Superheroes number 2, which you're looking at right now, which was posted on Twitter by Ryan Sook earlier this week. And that shows John there. And you can see the S in the background of that actually looks more like the traditional S. You can see him there about to receive his Legion flight ring, which is always a big deal. And you can see all the other LSH members there cheering him on and happy to have him join the Legion of Superheroes. And Legion of Superheroes Millennium number 1 will be released, as I said, or maybe I didn't say, but September 18th is when it's, I think it was solicited originally for September 4th, but now I think it might have been pushed back a little bit to September 18th. So look for that in September. And John Kent joining the Legion of Superheroes. It's official. Looking forward to seeing what Brian Michael Bendis does with the LSH with that particular mini-series starting in September. Also, another announcement that came out from DC Comics this week was Tales from the Dark Multiverse. Now, these are in some ways almost like an Elseworlds story, if you will. The Dark Multiverse is one of the Earths that has been recently written about. It's a darker version, a twist on things that happened in an alternate DC universe. And what they're doing is they're going back and retelling some of the DC Comics' most game-changing events in its publishing history, giving them that twisted and terrifying spin that comes from the Dark Multiverse. And beginning in October, you are going to see Batman Nightfall being done in the Dark Multiverse version, and you're also going to see the Death of Superman done in the Dark Multiverse iteration. Now, issue number 1 of the Tales from the Dark Multiverse, The Death of Superman, takes on the highest selling comic book event of all time, courtesy of writer Jeff Loveness, with art by Brad Walker and Andrew Hennessy, with a cover by Lee Weeks, as you're seeing there. In a broken world much like our own, Lois Lane, twisted by rage and grief over the Man of Steel's death, becomes the Eradicator, taking revenge on those who let Superman die and the corrupt world he could never defeat. Now, with the power of a god, she's going to end the never-ending battle by any means necessary, halting the reign of the Superman before it even begins. Now, this issue will be available on Wednesday, October 30th. So, a few months to go yet, but a Dark Multiverse take on the Death of Superman story. An interesting one there, and I was hoping Michael Bailey would be with us tonight because he's a massive fan of the Death of Superman story and collects every version of the omnibus, trade paperbacks, hardcovers, what have you. I'll probably ask him about this next week, no doubt, and we'll obviously get to review it and talk about it when it gets released in October. But I wanted to see what his take was on this, because I know he's against, or not necessarily against, but I know he doesn't like the whole dark, twisted take on characters. So to see a dark, twisted take on a story that he holds dear to his heart, the Death of Superman story, it's going to be interesting to see what his opinion of that is. So I'll wait and see, hopefully next week, and ask Michael about that when he joins me again for our next show. So lots happening in the world of comic books, but let's look ahead to what's happening this very week, Wednesday, July 17th, and what comic books will be available for Superman fans to read this week. And there is a big one, a new number 1, and I'll get to that in a second. But this week we have Justice League number 28 out in his Lex Luthor Apex Predator. that ties into the Year of the Villain saga. Issue number 28, which is also available in this very cool variant cover with Wonder Woman front and center there, but the Trinity, Batman and Superman in the background. A really cool cover. That is out this week. And as I mentioned, a new number 1, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. The first issue of a 12-issue maxi series is out this week, and that is also available in a variant cover. And by all accounts, this is a weird and wacky story. If you read the prelude or the Jimmy Olsen chapter of the recent, what was it, Superman special of some kind that we had a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember the title of it, but that was, wow, that was weird, chaotic, interesting and entertaining, but yeah, this is going to be a wild ride. So Jimmy Olsen number 1, first of 12 issues out this week. And in trade paperback form, Justice League Volume 3 Hawkworld is also out this week by DC Comics, and that comes out, those books come out July 17th, so that's what you have to look forward to this week if you're a Superman comic book reader, and you should be. So that's where things are at this week in the world of comic books. So this week, obviously, the big event happening is San Diego ComicCon at the San Diego Convention Center there. It's the convention's 50th anniversary, and there'll be, well, there's no Hall H Warner Brothers presentation this year, which is the first for a number of years now that they haven't been there. And then there's the combination of Warner Brothers and DC's combined booth there. There's going to be, no doubt, lots of comic book announcements, lots of TV announcements, and lots of merchandise announcements that will come out of the convention. A lot of the toy producers have, all these San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, but they also have previews of some of the upcoming production, whether it be action figures, statues, maquettes, figurines, prints, all those kind of things. They're announced there at San Diego Comic-Con, so I'm sure we'll get lots of news out over those couple of days that the convention takes place. We will, as I said, have a reporter there on the inside. I don't know how much news there'll be to report other than photos of, some of these things, as I said, of previews of upcoming releases and merchandise. But there'll be, no doubt, lots of people dressed up as Superman and lots of people, cosplaying and all that kind of stuff. So we will have photos for you, and anything that breaks, we'll be able to post it for you on the Superman homepage website. I did want to mention the fact that I apologize the fact that our app is currently a little bit broken. The news feed on it is not working at the moment. We've had issuing this show up on it and the speeding bulletin, but there is a update to the app in the pipeline. They're working on it now. They're doing it for free for us, so we can't push them too hard, but GUI are doing a job of updating that for us, and we hope to have that all ironed out for a free app. It's something that we pride ourselves in having our own app, but at the moment it's just a little bit tricky trying to get things updated. We apologize for the fact that it's not currently working, and hope that you will be patient as we attempt to get that fixed, and we apologize for any inconvenience that caused. Alright, well, that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's show. I want to thank everyone who has participated in tonight's program in the comments there on YouTube. I just wanted to sign off. Want to thank everyone again. Wanted to thank everyone once again for participating in the show. A huge thank you to our sponsor and patron, Douglas Meacham. Remember, if you want to sponsor the Superman homepage, and we do appreciate your support because it is expensive running this website and having all this software to post the show and all that kind of stuff, you can head to patreon.com/Superman homepage and be a sponsor for as little as $3 per month. Now, the complete 1-hour video of tonight's show will remain available on the Superman homepage website and our YouTube channel if you'd like to watch it back or perhaps miss part of the show. But I'll be back next week with, hopefully, Michael Bailey co-hosting on Tuesday, July 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for another edition of WGBS TV Live. Look forward to talking to you then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and my missing co-host Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching WGBS TV Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.